And good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. We should warn you, our internet connection is apparently very, very, very slow. So we don't know whether this is going to work, but we're going to give it a try. And this is now Bridge to a Better World. I'm Teresa Mitchell.
And I'm Ani.
And we've decided to talk about the clown show that's shaping up. The clown car hasn't quite arrived at the White House and won't until the 20th. But the clowns are being assembled. And as you may have heard, Trump wants to put so many clowns in the car that they can all pop out at once, and he won't have to have them vetted by Congress, which would be the normal and constitutional way to do it.
Pesky,
yes. He wants to force a recess. He wants Senate to be recessed so that he can make recess appointments without their consent or knowledge. And and so far that's not working for him, but we know that he'll keep pushing. And of course the guard's going to change, and probably his people will allow him to simply run the state himself, run the United States and its various agencies himself. This is also something that was rather predicted by the Project 2025. So there is much to, shall we say, anticipate over the next couple of months. But we can see already the shape of what's coming up. In the first place, Ani and I have noticed that the appointments that he's making seem to be in the hurried manner and the arbitrary nature of the people that he chose in 2016. As a matter of fact, I would say that he did more consulting. He was more humble in 2016, and now he seems to be just picking loyalists, as one comedian said, just looking around the plane and pulling people out and saying this one for that slot, that one for that slot, and so forth. And so we have some names already.
Well, for example, or do you have your list?
I have a list, yeah, but go ahead.
Well, the one that has really been catching, well, okay, we all know the one that broke everyone was Gaetz. We'll get to Gaetz. The one that is having me spinning this morning is Pete Hegsworth. Hegsworth, we all...
Hegsworth?
Hegsworth?
Yeah, Hegsworth.
That guy. Hegsworth. That guy, Fox and Friends, whatever. So he's a Fox host. Yeah, that kind of makes him a weird and laughable choice without previous governmental experience to be the, Secretary of Defense. But worse than that, I'm afraid, he does have some experience. He has experience being a soldier. He was a guard at Gitmo, wherein he defended the really horrendous treatment of the prisoners in Gitmo who have been there now some 20 years, right? So not only that, but he's a defender of war criminals. So, of course, Trump's got to love him. He is somebody who during Trump's previous administration had Trump's ear enough that he got Trump to pardon 3 U.S. soldiers who were, in fact, being charged with war crimes. So elevate that dude.
Yeah. And of course, there's so many more.
So many more. I'm sorry. Go right ahead. I had to blurt because my head's been kind of...
Yeah, well, let's
spinning on that one.
Let's blurt some more. Marco Rubio, designated as Secretary of State. Marco Rubio is so pugnacious. That's a nice way of putting it. He's been such an asshole to China that they've actually sanctioned him. And so we know who Marco Rubio is. And it's also one of those things where it's just full to see him associated with the Trump camp at all, since Trump's been so insulting to him and has belittled him. And
well, we've seen that over and over again, right?
Yes.
I mean, he used to belittle Cruz. He's belittled Rubio. Vance used, but what do they all do? They they bury the hatchet when it comes to trying to get unfettered power, unlimited control.
It tells you where they're at, and they want power at any cost. And the cost is the humiliation of themselves, and of course, their families and friends, and anyone associated with them, seeing them lick that shinola off, and it's pitiful.
I'm just trying to get you all the way
closer
into the frame.
Yeah.
No, you have to be closer. You just have to lean this way. You keep moving. I keep moving the computer, and then you keep moving the other way. One might think you want to be off frame today. Carry on.
John Ratcliffe. A lot of the people that he has selected are very pro-Russian. And this is concerning since we know that Trump has been talking with Putin in violation of the Logan Act. I'm going to be talking about the Logan Act a little bit more. This is a very dictatorial attitude that he has, that he can simply take the reins of the state, whether he's in power or not. And it is important to remember right now that Trump and Musk, I'll be talking about Musk in a minute, are not in power. And under the Logan Act, they cannot. The Logan Act is just common sense. You have people officially designated from any state, anywhere in the world, to talk to other people and to set up deals. And you can't have private citizens running around making deals behind your back. It's anti-democratic for a start, but it's also just anti-state. It's this close. I don't know if the video is coming across, but I'm holding my fingers closely, and it's this close to treason. So it has some penalties associated with it, and I don't hear anything coming from Merrick Garland in terms of penalizing him or anyone else for violating the Logan Act. Tulsi Gabbard is selected for NSI now. Director of National Intelligence. This is a joke. She has absolutely no experience in the intelligence community, has no idea what it's about, never managed an organization of any size. And these Harvard and Yale spooks are going to eat her. So it's an appointment that doesn't make any difference, except that it's it's another middle finger to the United States and to the intelligence community. Trump is very much poking the intelligence community. I can think of another president who ignored and insulted the intelligence community. His name was John Kennedy. And I suppose all that old history is dullest toast. Yes, it's dullest toast. Anyway, Elon Musk. I might as well get around to Elon Musk. Elon Musk, as who was it we were watching last night, pointed out, has been humiliated by Trump, and apparently doesn't even know
Lawrence
it.
O'Donnell.
Lawrence O'Donnell was pointing out that Elon Musk has been sidelined, forced to join up with Vivek Ramaswamy, the pharma bro who makes money by buying up pharmaceuticals and jacking their prices. And he is to be in charge of eliminating trillions of dollars from the U.S. budget. Now, Elon Musk is one of those who...
He thinks he could get rid of a third of the budget like that. He says with his smug demeanor.
Yes. And there is only...
Smug demeanor.
If you look at the agencies and you try to figure out what in the world they're talking about, well, either they're just blowhards, and they are that, or they intend to destroy Social Security. That's the only way to move $1 trillion, is to privatize Social Security. Now, they love that sort of thing. This whole heritage group, they know that it's a third rail, and they dare not, as long as anyone has any political power, which they're trying to eliminate. But they very much want to cut Social Security. Social Security has made reactionaries mad since Franklin Roosevelt created it. And it has also made the society much more prosperous and has given people something to hope for and live for as they get older in whatever jobs that they have. And also, I just want to take another chance to say to anyone who says that it's a Ponzi scheme that you have no idea what you're talking about. No idea. It's an insurance process, and it is not a Ponzi scheme. Maybe some other show I'll explain what a Ponzi scheme is and what Social Security is, but I don't want to get there right now, except to say that anyone who says that is simply repeating right-wing reactionary talking points and has no idea, cannot back up what they're saying.
I want to just note, Tat, thank you for calling Elon the first buddy. I think that That really is like, hey, little buddy. Um, where my hope is that when you stick a bunch of amoral, incompetent dipshits in
Rich dipshits.
rich dipshits who are hungry for ever more power. Really, it's a like a ceaseless hunger. They're kind of hungry ghost like.
Yeah, because it's not
They have
satisfying.
no personal core or conviction anymore. They just want they have this lust for absolute power. And you stick them all in one small jar. You put the cork in it and you shake it. And I am just sort of looking for the when they start when they start to eat their own. When Lawrence O'Donnell, I'm going to say I have never appreciated him as much as I did last night
Yeah, he did.
in watching. And I think this was actually taped the day before. But Lawrence O'Donnell was talking about how how Trump is now starting to again belittle Elon. I wouldn't say behind his back. Is anything behind Elon Musk's back? But to say, oh, we just can't get him to go home. He just keeps following us around. Hook, hook. That's not going to sit well. And we both know that neither of those two men like or have a sense of humor around any kind of self-deprecation or humbleness or humility. They both take insult very deeply.
Billionaires are sad people, and you can see it in the face. I mean, you can actually see it in Trump's face and Ellen's face. When they're on something and they're enjoying pretty much what they're doing, part of their face will start to smile, and you can see it come up a little bit, and their eyes get kind of glittery, and this part of their face never changes, because this part of their face is connected to the part of their brain which is telling them that what they really, really need is a hug from someone who actually loves them, which they are not going to get. Ellen will be in charge of Doge. Isn't that funny? Haha, Doge, like when he set off his stupid rocket at 4:20, horrifying his engineers. April 20th, I mean.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not ready, but he doesn't care because he wants to do it on 420 because he's a bro.
Yeah.
He's the head bro of all bros.
What were you saying? Make things and break them?
Well, that was the Zuckerberg claim, actually. That was the Facebook motto for developers to Facebook: move fast and break things, right? Because the idea behind that phrase was, if you're not messing something up, then you're probably not moving fast enough to actually get innovations out there. So you just get everything out there and deal with the consequences later. Whatever. You break a few things.
Yeah.
And we are seeing this attitude embraced wholeheartedly by this current conglomeration of Trump and his cronies, with the idea that they will pass these without approval, recess appointments, with the idea that, if everything is just in place on day one, they'll just get around to doing the stuff, whatever the stuff might be. And we know they've actually said day one, rounding up immigrants, putting them in mass detention camps.
Dictator on day one. Yeah. And this attitude of, build things and break them works great for rocket development and should never be applied to a human being. Anyway,
or the body politic.
So
how about move thoughtfully and fix things?
Yeah, I like that. So his department will be called Doge and will have no actual powers. Department of Government Efficiency, just like the cryptocurrency Doge. Ha ha ha! Inside joke. Let me skip ahead to, you've already covered Hegsworth.
Oh, but you can cover him more if you want to. I'm sure I wasn't exhaustive. Man is really a nightmare.
He's a blowhard, and everyone at the Pentagon knows it. And so I suspect that Hegsworth will be treated much in the way, not quite as much, be treated much in the way that Tulsi Gabbard will be treated. And I speak with this confidence about CIA types because many years ago, I worked with an organization of dissidents, the CIA, and these people, bless them, they were trying to do the right thing, but they came from a place of white male empowerment, riches, and unquestioned power. And so I can say with confidence that they will simply not allow Tulsi Gabbard to, actually make friendly with Russia in the way that she wants to. She's very pro-Russian, and this is something that is a consistent part of these idiots that are being selected. And when it comes to idiots, let's get into the last two, shall we? Robert Kennedy and Matt Gaetz. Robert Kennedy, very, very, very junior, is to be
also junior.
Yes, who is also a rich man who has never had to be called to account for what he wants to do. And those stories about him, eating bears and driving around with a whale on his car are just whimsical actions of an eternal frat boy.
Yeah.
And I haven't heard him discussed quite that way, but that's obviously what he is. He thinks that he can run the nation's health agencies with no experience. Here again, absolutely has no medical anything.
His priorities would be to get raw milk out further. I've read, to basically end vaccines and to push raw milk.
He's said that.
So it's a depopulation plan, I guess, is what we're saying.
Yeah, effectively. I mean, he's hedged on the vaccinations, which is a good thing. And he has said some good things, which I don't want to be able to define him. I mean, for example, he's against all the sugar that goes into kids' school lunches, all the refined flour. Good. That's great. Someone needs to be. The same things that we sell, the Fruit Loops that we sell, it keeps coming up in this discussion in the United States, have a big black warning on them in Mexico. Warning, excessive sugar. I mean, we don't even do that. So,
but Michelle Obama wanted to, was promoting all those ideas and was vilified by the right.
Yeah,
just going to say.
Yeah, and she
had no actual cabinet appointment.
Yeah.
She was just, the first lady who did good things.
Yes, doesn't like politics is what I hear. And so he is known for spreading anti-vaccine information, and may be a huge problem, especially since, as we keep saying on this show, the breeding population of H5N1, the deadly bird flu, is circulating hugely in dairy farms. It is instantly deadly to cats. I've brought that up before, but it has a 50% kill rate in the mammalian populations that it transfers to. For example, where it transfers to penguins or sea lions, it'll kill half the population as it rampages through. So it has that possibility of creating a human to human form, which fortunately it has not done. But to have a fool like this in charge of things, in charge of Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, Department of Agriculture, and National Institutes of Health would just be a disaster. He's also been downplaying the climate emergency, and he is opposed to ceasefire in the Gaza Strip, which is, not good for the health of people in Gaza. And he also bought his way into his position in terms of bringing his voters in. That was his deal. He gets to have health if he supports Trump at the last minute, which he did. And that brings us to Matt Gaetz. And the reason I sing it like that is when I look at him, I think of the cartoon character from the 60s, 50s, Tom Slick, who also had an enormous forehead. He was being investigated by the Justice Department over whether he had a sexual relationship with a 17-year-old and violated federal sex trafficking laws. And like a lot of powerful politicians, he enjoyed having the charges dropped for no reason. However, the ethics committee then took it up. And it was interesting. Matt Gaetz is so hated that Republicans will just diss him instantly. As soon as you bring his name up, they will scoff and snort and talk about things that had been rumored in the initial investigation, including his bragging that he had sex with 17-year-olds while using energy drinks and Viagra-like pills to stay up all night.
And would try to show clips of sex tapes on the House floor to his colleagues who reportedly turned away from him. And this is another reason why they're not real up for supporting him. This is the one nomination so far that seems to have actually rankled the seated Republicans, who are like, that can't be serious. There's no way. So that give there's not been a lot of mirth and merriment in our house, right?
Okay, but
And
that's
yet, two days ago, when you looked up and you said he just nominated Gaetz as the AG,
my reaction was.
you told me, and I just spit my coffee.
Yeah.
I was just like, well, that tears it. I mean, this has gone from tragedy to tragedy plus farce,
Yeah,
right?
I mean, because he is just a bomb. I mean, he destroyed McCarthy's career just to destroy McCarthy's career, and in doing so, he spiked the Republicans' plans. The Republicans, the House, had a lot of bills that would have gone through if or not for Matt Gaetz. This is why they hate him. He's always in their way. It's always about Matt Gaetz, and to think of him as Attorney General is just, oh my God, it'll be all about Matt Gaetz, but he'll be so brutally, viciously, stupidly incompetent that we can almost look forward to it. Don't quote me on that, because actually having an angry fool in charge of the nation's law enforcement is terrifying.
It's terrifying. I think one of the ways he got this appointment was he was vociferously supporting Trump during Trump's felony trial in New York. He was one of the dudes that showed up with the identical ties, talking to the press at breaks about how this is just a show trial for Garland's Justice Department. He's weaponizing the Justice Department to hassle Trump, to criminalize Trump, and it's all because of nothing. It's just because Garland is weaponizing the Justice Department. There's nothing here, and they are defending their, good buddy Trump. So with this crowd, we know every accusation is a confession. And since he's talking about weaponizing the Justice Department and feeling like it had been, that's what he is planning to do. He's pretty much said it. And he, beyond that, I agree, Tat, that there is a lot to do with this timing to stop that investigation, to clear him from a sex scandal involving minors and drugs. Not a good look for the party of the family, right? Though how this is still got any veneer of being the family values party when we've got Trump himself with the hush money to porn stars and his good buddy Jeffrey Epstein, all of that, right? I'm sputtering.
Well, so the question arises, how to stop this looming colossus of fascism? And the answer is, in all ways, let a thousand flowers bloom. One of the ways is that we need to call for massive recounts. Even Vice President Harris has some recount action going. I'm not sure how much. Greg Palast can identify 2.7 million votes that have been stolen. 2.7 million is a hell of a lot of votes. And that's just what one investigator can find. So I would say that there is a good chance that we saw it coming, that there were massive attempts to create an apartheid state by disempowering voters, disempowering Black voters, intimidating women voters, and add to that the 2.7 million. We need recounts. It causes the fascists to be flustered. Fascists flustered. I can't say that quickly. That needs to happen right now. The last time there was significant recount action, the only person who pushed it forward was Jill Stein. I hate to even mention her name right now, but the way she ignored the Euro Greens and would not make an emergency endorsement of Harris at the last minute, as they recommended, has had historic repercussions, shall we say. So screw her. I've signed up with the Democrats and don't want to hear about her anymore.
All right. So what do we do? We read we read about how to stop a fascist takeover. We look at history. We read Snyder's On Tyranny. wherein he first and foremost talks about not obeying in advance. It is important not to obey in advance.
Very important.
Call your Democrat legislators and tell them that you are expecting them to do everything within their power, not to be conciliatory, not to go along and get along, but to block every possible, to filibuster, to rule in that minority, manage somehow the Republicans managed to do that by filibustering, by this, by that, by the other thing. Oh yeah, and we also had Manchin and Cinema, that didn't help. But I want us to be as unbutterable as the MAGA heads have been for the last 4 years. I would like to, I had to throw up a little bit yesterday when I'm watching Biden and Trump do the statesman handoff. What in the heck was that, good people?
That was Biden showing that he's actually a grown
person.
man,
a statesman. He's got his lifelong, and I do mean long, career of being a statesman and doing the diplomatic thing and stuff and such. But this is the same dude that he was rightly warning, although a little soft in the warning, if you ask me, but rightly warning people would seek to end democracy. Biden actually said Trump is a threat to our democracy, is a threat to our nation. But now that, the voting's happened, if there's anything we can do to make your transition smoother, you just let us know if you need anything. Like, make me fucking gag. Okay. I'm sorry. Carry on.
Well, they have reduced democracy to the trickle, and we are in a hell of a spot. But that's just where people find their strength. And I urge you also to find your strength. And that's all I have to say about the nominations at this point. More information later.
All right. So we want very much to bolster any legislative resistance. This is not the time for Democrats to try to look at bipartisanship, unless it is to actually block, to work with some of the non-MAGA Republicans that are left standing and to block legislation and appointments in any way that they can. I do not want to hear the words, we just need to compromise and be bipartisan.
Yeah, no.
Anymore. I do not want
none of that.
And so, let us actually talk to our elected reps and let them know what we are expecting. We are expecting them to fight for democracy. That is really on the line. And so we also really need each other. And to that end, last week we were talking about wanting to create get-togethers in person with our community, with y'all. If you are just tuning in to this live stream, if you are just pulling this up, how do we say tuning in? I am so full of radio vernacular that it's not even funny. But yeah, if you are just finding out about this live stream, Teresa and myself, Ani, are here every Friday morning at 9:00. And we are giving you our rundown, our analysis of the headlines, community information, and also a little tarot reading, which we'll get to in just a moment. But we want to actually bring this into the 3D space. And we actually had several of you say that, yes, this is something you want to do. Over this next week, we will, in fact, pick a place. It's not going to be on a Friday morning at 9. I don't think we're going to try to live stream with audience just yet, but to pick a place perhaps on a Sunday mid-morning and have a little coffee together. We are looking for that coffee shop now. We'll announce it next week. If you have a suggestion of a coffee shop in your neighborhood that has, some space, let me know. Because I have to admit, I'm a little stymied finding a good coffee shop
we like
that has space.
we like the working class side of town.
Yeah. So we will find a place and announce a time during next week's show. We also want to encourage everyone to get the hell off Twitter. I know I'm a little late to this party. Several thousands of people made the exodus when Musk showed his hat, a few months ago. Showed his hand a few months ago. A lot of people left screaming when he initially bought it. I've been hanging on because it's hard to restart on social media. It's hard
It
to
is. I'm just learning Blue Sky.
bring those followers over, but let us do it. We don't need to give that person another centimeter of our attention, and certainly not eyes on his platform that's
So-
going to
Is that a metered scintilla?
yes
I
it
like
is. Excuse me. My rant, it's out of control. But we don't need to give him any of our attention, any of our focus. And every time our eyes land on that page, we generate some kind of money for him. So I'd rather not. And so where the skies are blue, right? Let's go find each other on Blue Sky. That seems to be a good place right now. I know that there are others, but we need to get off of Twitter. I'm going to be shutting down our accounts there. And when I say our, I mean my accounts plus the Bridge to a Better World account on Twitter, and be going over to Blue Sky entirely. You can already find me on Blue Sky as AniRaven.bsky.social, right?
And I am Teresa58X
Okay.
on Blue Sky, and I'm just learning how to use it.
As are we all. So there is definitely migration there, and I think that is super important. It's a super important way to go. And I think that there is a massive migration that direction at this point to all the thinking people.
Yes, appropriately so.
Yes.
It's a Nazified form now.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we cannot. The Guardian actually pulled out.
Yes, I saw
the
that.
Guardian newspaper pulled out and said that they cannot trust news that is on it. They cannot trust, and they do not want their news to be associated with it because it is, in fact, a dumpster fire at this point. Anything else from you?
No, that's what I have to say.
So this is now Bridge to a Better World. Please do give us the thumbs up on this video. Please do hit the like button, hit the notification bell. I have a feeling we'll make good on our occasional promise to come to you more often. As news hits, we will be here. We'll post also a notice to this site when we do have a time and place to meet in person. We will post that to our channel as well. Spread the word. Share this information with friends and family. Know that here locally in the Little Beirut anarchist jurisdiction of Portland, we do want to come together. We know that that's important. Do hit the notification bell. I was heartened to see that we have many new subscribers to our channel, so welcome on in. But do subscribe if you haven't already, and do share this with friends and family so that we can, in fact, grow our solidarity network together. All right. I got Tarot.
All right. What does Tarot say to us today?
Tarot says, we have the High Priestess, we have the Hanged One, and we have the Ten of Wands. So, the Priestess says that, we need to really tune in to our own authority and to our own psychic intuitive awareness, that there's great wisdom that we can bring in, we can find, we can hold on to. and that by staying open and aware of some of the more esoteric teachings, by staying focused and open intuitively, it's our strongest position. Oops. Then we get to the hangman. The hangman is about it's about submission, right? It's about knowing that sometimes there's nothing you can do and you just have to ride it out. Please note, the hangman was inversed. And in this deck, the author notes her interpretation, her intention in making these cards. When the hangman is hanging upside down, it means it's time to get to work. That there are times to acquiesce and there are times to move ahead. And this is one of the times to move ahead. That we have perhaps spent some time licking our wounds, as it were. That we, and I don't want to say that in any kind of condescending way. It is more of a, we've been in mourning. We've been shocked. We have been heartsick, and we've needed some time out to reassess, right? To reassess. That reassessment phase, we have to be getting on with things now. There is a time to take a break. That break is over. It's time to get back to work. I also want to mention about the High Priestess. This card points to possibilities, a world of potentials and possibilities that we have yet to access. And again, that's why I'm saying about maybe a little bit more of the intuitive opening and esoteric teachings. We have to look for hidden ways. We have to look for things that we have not seen previously, because there are many potentials out there, many possibilities out there that we have yet to tap. And finally, we get the 10 of Wands. I find this curious because the 10 of Wands often indicates that there's some victory. But it also is talking about the exhaustion that often comes with that. We've got the exhaustion. And what I am seeing in this card is the idea that we have fought a good fight, that we have really given it our all, and that we do have to take care of ourselves, rest, recover, nourish ourselves, pay attention to the fact that we are exhausted, and we have to make sure that we guard our gains. I would say that would be knowing our community members, safeguarding our community members, holding our communities tight, and again, watching our personal levels of exhaustion, taking breaks as we need to, but never stopping in the forward movement. And that is what I have for the cards today. With that,
I think we can wrap it up with that. I guess I don't want to go without saying I was so hopeful before the election. I saw the gathering, the vote gathering. What's turnout is what I wanted to say. I saw turnout actually happening. I knew that there were vicious and massive and ongoing attempts to destroy democracy, not just after the election, but they destroyed democracy in this election. I do think that a recount would change a number of races and might change the national race. I don't know. But I just want to emphasize that we should not obey in advance. We do need a recount. Contacting your representatives is actually easy. It's very easy these days. And the easiest, and the way I do it is I forget all that stuff. So I just go online, use a search engine, say, how do I contact my representatives? 97206, my zip code, and bam. There they are, and you can contact them directly.
I do also want to say with this card, oftentimes it does mean that the rewards are down the road a little bit. that there's been a lot of hard work and a lot of exhaustion, and it really is time to not only, again, pay attention to the exhaustion, but to understand that we must keep at it as we haven't quite achieved. We are on that path. Okay.
We're with you. We support each other. We support you. You do that too, and we'll be strong together.
That's it. And together is what we got. So thank you all so much for being here with us this Friday morning. If you have suggestions of where to gather in person, say, Sunday after next, that would be fantastic. And do list them down in the comments at any time over this week. If you want to join us, again, let us know. We will be posting both on our YouTube channel as well as on Blue Sky, the social media platform that we're figuring out. How about you? So that's it, right?
Okay.
All right.
Thanks
Thank
for
you
tuning
so
in.
much.
Our love goes out to you and to all the ships at sea.
Cheery bye.
Bye-bye.